Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Rude, and today I'll be having a genre discussion with actor, director Adam Freeman. He's here to talk about his newest film, Scream Dream, that is now in Indiegogo in demand. It's on Indiegogo right now. The campaign is still going strong with almost $20,000 already, which is incredible. Um, Welcome to the show, Adam.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So, but, um,
I think
what,
you cut out just a little bit.
and then leading up to, yeah, I see. That's why I had a little pause there. um, but yeah, so like before we get into the Scream Dream Indiegogo campaign, I wanted to ask, like, what got you into the horror genre, and then leading up to wanting to be a film director?
So what got me into the horror genre was as a kid, I grew up in the video rental stores, and I just constantly was at the video store spending hours on end in the horror section trying to find something to watch. And I kind of never grew out of that. As I got older, I just continued to watch horror films, mainly horror films. I didn't really watch anything else. And I became an actor when actress Del Dickey, she was in like an Iron Man 3, she's in TNT's Claws, Sordid Lives. She had come to my work. I was a barista at a coffee shop, and she had told me a little bit about acting and a little bit about how to get into it. So she kind of led my way for me, and I got into acting classes with a real Hollywood acting coach who had worked in LA for several years, but had came down to Tennessee to live. And from there, I landed a few roles as an actor, and then I started doing things on behind the scenes. So I became a line producer, and then I started writing lots of scripts. So I became a screenwriter, and then also took on directing, which was a lot of fun for my previous film, Deadly Dealings. And that's kind of how I got into everything. It just kind of, you just learn as you go, and you know the right people. So yeah.
Yeah. So, like, before Deadly Dealings, I think, didn't you act in a film called Truly Madly, or did that come after Deadly Dealings?
I did act in a film called Truly Madly. That was my very, very first film. And it was supposed to be a grindhouse film. So it we spent almost 2 years working on it. It was one of the hardest films I think I've ever done, just because it was like every weekend we would shoot, so we didn't film consecutively, and there was a little to no budget, so we had to wing everything. And I was really surprised how it came out. Like, it turned out really good for what they were going for. And it's right now they put it on Tubi and Freebie, so you can see that film. It's also available like on DVD or Blu-ray online. But it was a challenge for real.
Awesome.
I know the last day of filming on that movie, I had drove my car so much to Kentucky that my car broke down on the side of the road, and I had one lug nut left in one tire, and that was it. When they picked it up to put on the truck to
Wow.
tow it, the wheel actually just fell. All the wheels just fell off.
Oh, wow. So, like, one lug nut on each tire, or just one of the tires?
No, they actually busted off on all the tires. So all the tires fell off except there was
Oh,
one
dang.
wheel that had a lug nut on it. Just one. and when they picked it up, it broke and it fell
Dang.
off.
Holy crap, man. You're lucky that your tires like while you're driving or something.
Yeah, it started like and it was just because I drove it so much um up to Louisville and Kentucky every weekend. So I was already driving like an hour to work to from Newport to Knoxville. I would work for like 8.5 hours, and then I'd get off and then drive up to Louisville, Kentucky, and then we would shoot like all day until nighttime, get a few hours of sleep in between, shoot all day again, drive all the way back to Tennessee, go into work, work an 8.5 hour shift, then drive an hour back home, and then finally get to sleep on Tuesday. So it was a rough shoot for about 2 years.
Man, talk about dedication.
Yeah.
Well, Deadly Dealings was your first directed film, and then you also in the what I liked about the film was like the color palette and just how
Hmm.
how different everything looked uh, than like any traditional horror film. Like this film just looked like nothing like I'd really seen before, except for maybe Midsummer, where like the horror in these bright colored scenarios. But Deadly Dealings just kind of has like just like the bright colors, like the pink, maybe like fuchsia sort of colors.
Yeah.
Like what made you sort of like want to try to make them with you know bright colored color palette?
So the colors that I chose for Deadly Dealings, which is the same aesthetics that we'll be using in Scream Dream, um, I had uh, I had a lot of dreams that had those color palettes and looked exactly like the movie. The Do you remember where Jessa was reading the dream journal in the film?
Yeah.
Okay. So there, that was the actual dream that I had that inspired the lighting and the colors and everything. So I wanted to do
Mm,
that, and I wanted to make it really dreamy, really pastel. Mainly because those are like the pastel color palette is really like my favorite type of colors, like pink, blue, purple, a little bit of green here, and I just really wanted to like make something that was kind of like Lisa Frank meets horror, like really, really colorful. And
yeah.
we went for it, and I think it worked really well. A lot of people think that it was inspired by like the Italian filmmakers, like the Giallo filmmakers films, the
Yeah.
Italian films, but I was inspired by them on something else in the film, but I was not inspired with the lighting in the film.
Okay. Yeah. Like I see where maybe could come from uh Giallo film, and because like Italian films that uh, worked on like or made like giallo films, they do use like lighting techniques and color palettes
Yeah,
as like uh Dario Argento, for example, is like a perfect at using color palettes in his films.
yeah.
um but your film, I think really um is a lot different than giallo films because of just the way that um there's other in the background. Like I mean the soundtrack just like reeks like 80s vibes. Just it almost kind of seemed um like like the film was made in the 80s. Like it gave me more 80s horror vibes than giallo.
Thank you. I take that as a huge compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I mean, I'm a fan of 80s, like 80s horror, 80s aesthetic. So when I seen that you're remaking an 80s cult classic, Donald Farmer's Scream Dream, and then kind of, reinventing it, making it your own, using your techniques as a filmmaker, um, I'm anxious just to see because, Deadly Dealings was unique horror film, and hearing that you're going to use sort of like the same like lighting techniques and like color palette for Scream Dream, I I think it sounds amazing, man.
Thank you. We what we originally were supposed to do before Deadly Dealings was Scream Dream. That's kind of like where everything, like the aesthetics and everything came from, demon makeup and things like that. But we have since changed it because I had went to Donald a few years ago. I want to say it was like 3 or 4 years ago now. But I had asked him, I was like, "Hey, like, I would love to remake Scream Dream. What do you think about that?" And he was up for it at first, and I spent probably about, I want to say it was like 8 or 9 months working on this script, which is a long time for me because I can bust out a script like Deadly Dealings. I busted it out in about a month and a half just to get it perfect. I rewrote it like
Wow.
8 times, and I would spend like 10 hours a day writing it. But we had this script for Scream Dream, and he had changed his mind at first, and he didn't want to do the remake anymore, and he wanted to kind of put it off. So I was like, well, I have everything planned out, like I got a cast, and I've kind of got all the aesthetics that I want to do, and I think it would be really cool. So I had I actually had like 6 scripts altogether. And I just chose that one because it was kind of personal. We all were kind of like dealing with COVID. People had been losing a lot of people, that they knew and loved. So I was like, let's do something about like, loss, you know, like during this time. So that I cleaned up the script because it had a lot of content in it, and we dedicated the film to our lost loved ones. So at the very end, all the way to the movie stops, we have credits that show the like our lost loved ones. Like I lost my aunt and uncle. I know Brian lost his brother. Jessa lost her brother, and I was just like, everybody's losing somebody, so let's clean it up, and we'll dedicate the film. And we didn't put any of the sex or nudity in the film because it had it in the script, but I was like, no, I took it out immediately, which the distributors hated because they wanted that in the film to sell, which sucks that they feel that way. But with Scream Dream, we have since rewrote it, redid the entire script. I redid um, everything that you can think on the script. I kept some of the characters from the original, and then I have added new characters. I've taken away some characters. If you kind of look at the way the Evil Dead remake was set up, it's similar to that. That was kind of brought to my attention the other day, not intentionally, but like how in the remake the girl kind of sees the girl in the forest. It's
Yeah.
almost kind of similar to that, almost like a self-reflection thing. Um, but it's same story, only amped up. Uh, Currently, what we have left to fund is special effects because we do need $15,000 in just special effects to pull this off, and we're
Wow.
doing like a lot of built sets. Um, Lots and lots of practical effects, and I do want to let everyone know who have seen the original. Yes, we are doing the chainsaw scene with the bed. So
Awesome.
that is
Awesome. Love
it.
that scene.
It it's and it's going to be interesting because we actually have to build the set, put the bed in the air, and it's going to be pre-cut, and we have to have like the actress's body molded Because we're actually going to go for it and show everything. So it's going to be interesting to try to pull some of this off. Yeah.
Nice, man. Dude, that sounds so cool. And I mean, I gotta ask, have you thought about, or I mean, you probably thought about trying to contact Melissa Moore to maybe come back as like a cameo?
I've been, I'm not gonna say like I've been acquaintances with Melissa for a few years, and I sent some stuff to her a few years ago, and had her sign like the Scream Dream and Sorority House Massacre 2 and stuff. And I asked her about the remake, and she was really, really excited. On first, she was on board with everything, but she is a really, really busy person. Um, so she has since, said that she wouldn't be able to do the project, which is, that's okay. We did get Debbie Dutch, who was also in Hard to Die with Melissa. And I decided to kind of take out what I was going to do with Melissa, and we had this other character that we just kind of amped up more throughout the story, and it's going to be Deborah Dutch. So we weren't able to get Melissa, but we did get somebody who I think is going to be able to pull this off with this role, and I'm really excited to work with her. And I think that this role is just kind of like completely written for her. Like it's totally Deborah Dutch. It's totally her. So
Right.
I'm excited to see that character actually come to life in the script, because it was not in the original.
Very cool, man. Yeah, I always liked Deborah Dutch, and Hard to Die is just a classic Wynorski film.
Yes.
His long extended shower scenes are always awesome. And
Oh, that's going to be in
or
Scream Dream.
just stealing the show.
Yeah.
Oh, some shower scenes.
Oh, we've
All right.
got and a lot of people, I want to say this too. A lot of people got upset that I did not hire them. That was something I've not talked about yet, but I had a lot of people write me that were upset because I didn't cast them in this film, and there were some people that I really just I didn't know, but pretty much there is so much nudity in the upcoming remake. There's like prolonged shower scenes. There's feathers going everywhere, topless, pillow fight scene. There's just a lot of like demonic possession with a lot of nudity. There's a lot of edgy material, even with the male characters. We're going. Oh, I had distribution companies tell me that they wanted sex and nudity in the film for Deadly Dealings, and that they didn't get that. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to give them something that's going to be pretty intense on that level. But at the same time, I wanted to make sure that I was comfortable with my cast, because there is so much of it in there that the reason I hired my choices in acting, the acting or the cast, excuse me, was because of that reason. I wanted to be comfortable with them and then be comfortable with me. So it wasn't because I didn't want to hire everybody, because I wish that could happen, but I had to be really comfortable with this cast because of that.
Right. And that's understandable. I mean, you don't want to cast someone that I mean, you have the whole intention of you need nudity in this film, and that's what like the distributors are wanting. So you kind of have to ask people around that want to do the film, are you comfortable doing nudity? Because that would be a big um a big thing for the film.
Yeah, very much so. And I think people are going to be completely surprised with how much we're actually putting in this. So it may not even make it to streaming. I don't know. Maybe a censored version.
Yeah. Right. With Deadly Dealings, was there ever like maybe an alternate cut for like the distributors, or was just like all the nudity scenes cut out from like just completely?
We had as far as the nude scenes, like we just had just one slot nude scene, which it showed a lot, but we like angled it and kind of like cropped everything to like where it didn't show much. But we did have an alternate cut that had about 40 more minutes of footage in the film. Um, we tested that on several people, and everyone hated what we took out. So as soon as we took it out, people loved it. It was not that it was bad; it's just that it was so long, and then there was a lot more story, a lot more emotional stuff in it. And I know the therapy scene that we had, everybody told a story, and they were all true stories, except for Ronnie's. Ronnie's was put together for the film, the story, of course. But we cut all that out. We cut out some of my favorite dialogue. It's Jess is sitting there, and she was talking to everyone. She got everybody kind of like a little gift basket for therapy, and she had bath bombs, and she holds up two like bath bombs. It was supposed to be comedy, like she holds them up, and she just did this on screen, and we just loved it. We couldn't stop laughing. But she holds them up like if they're a pair of balls after you've had this like long emotional scene, and she's like, and you can take one of these on your way out. And they talk about like aromatherapy, and it's just really, really hilarious. Like, yeah, you kind of have to see it, but it got cut out of the main cut, which it made sense to cut it. So, but it was really funny, and it was lighthearted comedy after you had this long, drawn emotional scene. So we took all that out. That was about, I want to say it was like 35 to 40 minutes of footage.
Oh wow. Well, is there like any chance that on DVD, Blu-ray, that there's like deleted scenes or extended scenes like as a special feature, or?
No, I don't really like, I don't want to give my secrets away. So I didn't put any special
Right.
features or the making of on that one. I will probably do it for Screen Dream, but I just, we were running out of time, and I wasn't able to get the interviews. Everyone was tired, and we didn't want to go back and film it because everyone was just so busy, and it was just a nightmare having to get them to do it. So I was just like, you know what? Let's just screw the special features. I'm really not that person to want to talk about like how like in depth detail over it, and I know that that's exactly what I would do for the Blu-ray, because I tend to hate to like film myself doing that. I don't know. I love interviews like this, but like to film myself on that, I don't know. There's just something about it I just don't like. So some people try to get me to
Right.
do like special features, and I was asked recently to do an a commentary, actor's commentary for a film that just came out, and I had to talk for an hour, even though I was in the film probably 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. And I was just like, what am I going to talk about for an hour? you know? So
Right.
I tend to hate doing those types of things. So,
For sure. For sure. Um. Yeah, and I just want to mention like Jessa's character in Deadly Dealings. I just love her accent in the film. Uh, is she gonna kind of do maybe a similar accent in Scream Dream, or is she gonna have a totally different persona?
um, I think she's going to have a totally different persona. But that is something to think of. I mean, I might possibly be able to do that. I know she had to watch a lot of Dolly Parton and Anna Nicole Smith videos, but her character in that
Mm-hmm.
film was a love letter to Anna Nicole Smith, who is one of my favorites. I don't know if you call it like the blue eyeshadow. She's
Okay.
blonde, bodacious, and the color palette that she used on her wardrobe was all Anna Nicole.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I didn't quite catch that. That it was all like Anna Nicole vibes, but I don't know. I just love like that southern, like maybe
Hmm.
a little bit of like Dolly Parton. Just I don't know. It was just something different than what I've seen her in other roles, and I thought that she pulled the role off really, really well.
Thank you. Thank you. I had a few people who actually were very upset that we went with that type of accent. Just people who had watched it and they had messaged me. But we get a lot of flack over like our southern accents, especially with like people from like the north or out west. Um, People literally like I worked in a call center and people refused like outright to talk to me over the southern accent. And I was just like, I'm proud of it. I want to put it in there. So I did that, but it's actually um I was watching a this history thing the other day where about the southern accents. And it actually is like it's a slowed down British accent, and it's still the closest to what our ancestors who first came here, um, how the way they talked, the more southern that you get. So I really wanted to make sure I put it in there just because I was really proud of it and proud of where I come from, and B, it was totally Anna Nicole, and also just because people just kept giving me hell over my southern accent, so I wanted to I wanted to add that charm in there so people could see how charming we really are.
Absolutely, absolutely. You shouldn't have to, try to appease everybody. Like this is your
Exactly.
film, so you can do what you want with your film. Um, but yeah, like so, moving forward to Scream Dream. Uh, when you got Donald Farmer on board to actually do remake, was he like anxious to actually want to be a part of the film, or what
Yes.
what else is involved with Donald Farmer on this film?
So I went to Donald and I was basically just like, can I outright buy rights to one of your films to remake? And he said, yeah. And he's like, which one do you want? Because he was wanting me to remake another one of his films that we had talked about because I've been asking him to do a remake of one of his films. And he wanted me to remake Demon Queen, which Demon Queen's an amazing film. I love Demon Queen. And I had a really cool idea, but Scream Dream was on my heart. So I just asked him, I was like, can I please remake Scream Dream? And I was like, I know we've had this conversation before, but I would love to pay you for that. So he came up with a price and I paid for the rights. So I paid for the rights to have them, and I told him, one of the on the contract that we signed was that I have creative control over everything. So I was able to cast who I wanted, do everything that I wanted for this. And I think that Deadly Dealings, when he watched Deadly Dealings, he saw the potential that that Scream Dream, the remake, could have, and I think that's what really got him on board was that film. Um, so he's going to be in the film. He will be in the remake of Scream Dream, and I'm excited for that just because I've worked with Donald several times and he's always a blast to work with. But as far as script, I don't even think that he's not even read the current script. I'm gonna make it all one big surprise when he sees it. So yeah.
Nice, nice. Yeah, man. I look forward to the film. Just everything that I've seen on the Indiegogo campaign just looks amazing. I've seen some pictures of where you want to go with like the costumes.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
just it totally reeks like 80, um, and
Mhm.
just like Are we gonna see like just like the wild Aquanet hair and stuff like that,
Oh
or
yeah.
uh,
Yeah, that's something I was talking to somebody about with last night. We have bought um, several lace front wigs that are huge hair. I've even had drag queens make me a wig, so we know how drag queens' hair can be. So it's going to be huge. It's going to be really really like just 80s, just like I'm talking like the demon. Like, so what I did was in the original Scream Dream there's a small hand puppet throughout the film. I turned the hand puppet into a full-blown lead in the film, so for the remake. And there is an actual demon. I'm going to be playing the demon. And just to kind of give you the vibe of like what I'm going for, I have like a cotton candy pink harness and pull away um, leather harness all over. Like it's got a pull away on front. And I've got like a which it's not going to be pulled off in the front. I'm just going to wear it. But it's got like a purple spiked out leather jacket. We spent like $100 on the harness, uh, $350 on the jacket. So it's like high quality. It's gonna look good. Then we got like spiked out holographic purple shoes to match the jacket. I've got like a demon trident that I paid like another $350 for. It looks like a devil trident with like the three little spikes on it and the little arrows on the end of it. I've got that. The wig itself, we had it custom made to make it look really good because we wanted to have a really good antagonist in the film. And we spent another about $300 just on the wig, and it's huge. And it's like got it's made by a drag queen, so it has like three little knobs on the head that are like solid like stones, like gemstones around it. And then out
okay,
of those come this big, huge, like crimped out curly hair that comes all the way down. And we've got that. We have bought like I know like Athena's outfit's like one of my favorites. It's like a zebra print, super tight crop top that's like pink, green, and white, and then she has like the leggings to go with it, with like a leather jacket to go over it. She's got like a wig that's like huge, just curly blonde. Then we've got like Angel Bradford. We've got this like neon pink and neon purple lingerie set that she's going to be playing Michelle Shock. So let's just say that's going to go with the new bed scene because we've incorporated everything and like kind of turned everything into like a more coherent type story for this, which I'm not saying the original wasn't coherent, but the very first scene of the film didn't have anything really to do with, you know, the rest of the movie. So we've incorporated everything
right.
together. Um, so that's just kind of like where we're at. And Jess has got these holographic pink cowboy boots with this it's looking like an 80s dress with like a belt that goes around the stomach, and it's like pink, white, blue, yellow. We have the off shoulder stuff, scrunchies galore. All like there's going to be a lot of wigs. Like I know Deadly Dealings had wigs in it, like everybody but two people had wigs on in Deadly Dealings, but in Scream Dream everybody has a wig, and it's all lace front, so it's going to look a lot
Wow.
better than Deadly Dealings. So
All right. All right.
costuming
Yeah.
has been really fun.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool to hear that the demon's gonna actually have more of a prominent role. I know in the original, it was kind of like, there was just like a lot of POV shots of the demon, and then like until towards the end, then we kind of see more of the demon. Is there gonna be sort of like POV shots again in this one that you can say, or
Um, Not really. What we're gonna do is more like. Have you ever seen Slumber Party Massacre 2?
Yeah. Yep.
We're going for that vibe with that killer, only throughout Scream Dream, the demon is the driller killer. Kind of like we're going for that vibe. Um, so
Okay.
basically, what we've changed a little bit is instead of like, Michelle Shock, in the original Michelle Shock dies and possesses Jamie. Instead, Michelle in the remake, what we're doing is she gets kicked out of her band, like in the original. She summons a demon to possess who takes over her spot in the band. But then some things
Okay.
happen with Michelle, and then Jamie, obviously comes in and she gets possessed. So
All
a
right.
little bit of a change, but not too much.
It,
So
it sounds like the story is going to be a little bit more cohesive.
yeah, the demon is very
From like what?
prominent throughout.
Okay. Yeah, man, I'm anxious to see what you come up with, and the campaign is still going on, and there's tons of
Mhm.
perks that people can choose from to help fund the film, and especially the special effects is where people are really going to need to help with. Um, let's talk about some of the perks that you have for the campaign and what people can do to help contribute to the film.
So we do have a Scream Dream bundle up right now. I think that's the best still. The poster, you get a poster and Blu-ray or DVD. Um, Personally, I would say go get the Blu-ray because it's gonna be awesome looking. But the what we're gonna have is like we got posters, we got T-shirts, we've got your face in the film, which we have come up with a lot of really crafty ways, stuff that's just not just using like the missing poster sign, which that's in there, but like we have a Walkman that the one of the actors are using, so they're gonna be like looking through their tapes, and they're gonna we're gonna let everybody be like an 80s rock star on one of the tapes, like it's their cassette album. And that way they can, be in the film. So that's one thing that we're doing. We've also did the missing persons for like the milk carton and stuff. Like every time we pull out milk and have coffee or something, then it's going to be on that carton. Um, but then we also have like get killed on screen. So in the original where Melissa Moore kind of like went on her frenzy, when she's possessed and killing everybody. Um, we are going to do that with Jessa in that role, and we've added a lot of kill scenes. Like if something's sold out, it's because I haven't seen it, so I just go back and I'll refill it for people. So
Mm-hmm.
we want all the kill scenes. So like if anybody wants to get killed in this film, um, the by buying the I know it's like pay to play, but it's like a lot of people don't have the chance to ever like be in a film because they're not like trained actors or go to acting school. So it's a cool way to get on set, and it helps the film get made, and it pays for the special effects that they're going to be using to kill them on screen, but also for the special effects of the film as well. So it's just a really cool way to get involved. We still have executive producer, associate producer, perks, and I'm trying to think of something else. We have your name and then Necronomicon. So we're gonna have like this giant Necronomicon book, and Michelle Shock's gonna be kind of looking through it, and it's gonna have people's names, so your name can be written in there. Um, but I want to say like probably my favorite perk is those posters. I just love the poster art that the Creepy Carves came up with for this. Um, so grab a poster, grab a T-shirt, get a credit. Pretty much almost everything comes with a special thanks.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. there's like digital copies, Blu-ray copies.
Yeah,
Yeah, so like, you know, if you like just want a copy of the movie, you could just, you know, purchase the movie on there, and you know, by, you know, people buying just the movie is also helping the film. So I think that's like the best
yeah.
way uh, to buy like an Indiegogo campaign film is, you
We
know, buying straight from the Indiegogo.
we also have a double feature with Deadly Dealings. So you can have like you can get Deadly Dealings, Scream Dream, and a poster of each, all for a really good price. So, which I
Yeah,
have,
sure, man.
luckily one of these is just sitting in the car, but Deadly Dealings is available on Blu-ray. I'll try to see if I can, you know, there it is, back of it. So you can get these through me only. They're limited. There's only 1,000 of them that was made, and we're not making any more after that. But there will
Oh,
be
wow.
the distribution company is putting the DVD out and the streaming, so you can get that movie off of our Indiegogo as well.
Yeah, and the artwork's killer for Deadly Dealings as well as Scream Dream. I just love the artwork that you got for your films.
Thank you.
Um, is there? I know like there's a lot of people that still collect VHS tapes. Was there any idea to our plans to on campaign or?
Um, I know the distribution company got the VHS rights for Deadly Dealings, so I can't put that one out. I don't have any control over that. But I did have somebody reach out to me wanting to put out the Scream Dream VHS. And I recently bought a couple of their films. I can't say the name of it yet because it's not for certain. But I
Mm-hmm.
watched their VHS and I was like, "Wow, this looks like DVD quality." Or for a VHS, it's really good to have
Oh,
DVD quality and great sound. So I'm
uh,
definitely thinking about going with them.
for sure, man. Yeah, I'm still a big VHS collector, and
Me
you know,
too.
I watch VHS from time to time. There's just something magical, like just the analog quality of the film. Just I don't know. For me, it's nostalgia because that's what I grew up watching was VHS tapes. I don't know like what the newer generation thinks about VHS tapes, but um,
I
you know
love
everything's
VHS.
HD now, so
Yeah,
so I don't know. I like try to talk to the younger generation and get their opinion on it because they probably, you know, I don't know. It would just be interesting to hear what they think about VHS tapes and the quality of film.
yeah. I went back and watched several VHSs recently, and I was like, "Wow, the quality is so bad, but yet it's so nostalgic. I love it."
Right. Like they're
But
not meant
then,
to be watched on like big screens, but if you got like a TV, the quality isn't so bad.
yeah, I like the laser disc. I have a few laser discs, and I'm just like, I like that quality. I think that was a little bit better than VHS, but sadly, it never really went anywhere. I mean, it had its releases, but it wasn't as big as VHS.
Right. Right. Yeah, just like I don't know what was the other one like HD DVD and like
Oh yeah,
Blu-ray 3D. Those are just kind
there's
of
a
like
place over here that
short-lived.
still sells those.
Oh
They're
yeah.
like in like a red case. Yeah,
Yep. 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 And like those were just like I don't know, man. Those kind of went by in the blink of an eye. Like you know, for seemed like a month or so, you would see them all over the place, and then all of a sudden,
they were gone.
just I don't know, they just disappeared.
Yeah,
I think probably by that time they were developing Blu-rays, so it's kind of like let's not put any time or money into HD DVD when Blu-rays just would be my guess.
Yeah, I like Blu-ray a lot. I do think, however, like one of my favorite movies, I don't like watching on Blu-ray. I love watching the DVD. It's The Evil Dead. Um, there's just
Oh
something
yeah,
about the DVD quality of it I love more than the VHS and the Blu-ray or the 4K version.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's an interesting topic too. Like, I would say, like for me, like Chainsaw Massacre is a perfect example of.
Which one?
It's one of those films that Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Oh yeah,
the original. How
yeah,
like, it's almost like that one wasn't really seen in HD.
yeah.
Like I mean, like
I'll
maybe
agree
like the
with that.
35 millimeters would be fine, but like Blu-ray 4K, I mean, it kind of makes it just like that grittiness. I think
I will say that there are like movies that I love in 4K and the like better quality. Like I love the Slumber Party Massacre and Slumber Party Massacre 2. Those two films in 4K is way better to me. Like I feel like they come off better, but there's just some films that you really don't need in 4K. So I get
for
that.
sure, right? And that's probably going to be like a debate for the ages. Like, there's always going to be older
Oh yeah,
films that, um, you know, are way better in HD or 4K, and then there's some that could just stay on older formats or just the quality. Otherwise, it just kind of takes away the uh, I don't know, just the aesthetics of the film.
yeah.
So, well, back to deadly or not deadly dealings. Scream Dream. Bringing back like Scream Queen legend Debbie Dutch, and then also bringing in like sort of like the new wave of Scream Queens like Angel Bradford and Jessa Flux. Um, do you plan on possibly bringing in more Scream Queens, or do you think like the casting that you have now is probably all we're going to see on the screen?
The cast that we have now is what we're gonna have on screen. But I also want to point out that where it's not only filled with just Scream Queens, but also Scream Kings as well. So I thought that was really important. Um, we got Jason Crow in there. We've got Stephen McGill, and one of the things that a lot of people I think don't realize is Steve McGill and Jessa Flux are the two leads, and then behind them would be like me and Ronnie. And then behind them is just like the minor characters throughout, but which are really important. But I do want to throw out that this is a really big deal for Steve because he has such a huge role in this, and I'm really excited for him to take on the role and to work with Jessa because they work so well together. We've all worked together on several films. But as far as Scream Queens go, yeah, just I wanted the full cast to be just Scream Queen, Scream King, Scream Queen, Scream King, people who had worked in horror a lot and um, have that name in horror. So that's why I went with the choices that I did. But
For sure.
I don't think that there's really much room aside from what we can do with the Indiegogo to fit anyone else in there because it's pretty elaborate and um, we got our locations that we got. Whoa, wow! It's amazing what we got for the price that we got it to, and I'm so excited to go up there and take a look at it in the upcoming months. But we got two old, elaborately decorated Victorian homes. They're right in front of each other. They're a bed and breakfast. It's up in Indiana and it's just massive. It's just so elaborately decorated and just so beautiful, just gorgeous. And they want us to film up there. they were asking for they were wanting people to come and start filming there and do different projects there. They host different stuff there. So I told them I was looking for the location, and they were like, please, please come film here. So we're going to be living in one house, filming in the other, and then we're going to flop it and film in the other house and live in that one. And then we're going to go back to Louisville, Kentucky and do some scenes, and that should be a wrap for Scream Dream once we do that.
For sure. Do you plan on doing like any gore blood scenes in the Victorian house, or are those shots going to be somewhere else?
This is going to be an incredibly gory film. We have Jesse Seitz, who did Jacob's Wife on Shudder, and Jesse works in the extreme underground. And for people who don't know what that is, it's kind of hard to explain because people think, horror film, there's films that can't affect you. These are films that can affect you and that are deeply, deeply disturbing films. Like some of those titles is like the Vomit Gore trilogy. You've got August Underground. You've got a lot of like the Unearthed films, the Serbian film, and things like that. Those are the extreme underground films. But she works in that genre, and what we're actually doing is we're going to be turning Scream Dream into an extreme gore film. So it's not going to be just lighthearted with the pastels and the colors and the 80s hair and a fun horror film. But what me and her have talked about is I wanted to bring the extreme to this remake. So it is 100% practical gore effects. But it is going to be a gore film. It's going to be, like with some of the extreme stuff that's like really gnarly and gross. But I don't know if we'll reach that level for the audience. I hope that we do, because there is a lot of gore in this, but it's supposed to be a fun time. So I don't really expect it to really make people want to vomit or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But like, I hope that it's enough to make people queasy.
I like with like the Serbian film. There's even a film from Chile called Trauma that's like really gut wrenching. I like to try to call those films like part of the Iron Stomach Club. It's a term I came up with, but like it just like it almost takes like an iron stomach to finish films like those. So like, would you consider this film sort of like that, or is it going to be a little bit less than?
I would expect it to be like that, especially with Jesse's work and what we've got planned. The only thing is we need 13 grand before September. So what I've been doing is I've been working 2 full-time jobs, and then doing all this stuff, the film stuff. So it's technically like 3 jobs. So I only sleep 1 night a week, and I'll work my butt off. Other than that, like right now, this is actually my day off. So, and I actually had yesterday, I was able to get yesterday off too. But other than that, like I'm just solid working to help bring in this budget, because I don't want people to think I'm just like, just sitting on my ass not doing anything. Like, no, I'm working really, really hard to make sure that we get those special effects, because I think it is important. I think it will be extreme. I think it'll capture the attention of a lot of people with what we're wanting to do and how we're going to do it. But we're also filming it like an 80s film. So like we're using fog machines, vapes, to make the atmosphere. We're using colored lights like blues and purples and pinks. We're using backdrops for like cutaway scenes where it shows like the demon laughing and it's holographic, and it's just really, everything's going to be holographic and glittery. And we're going to be covering, like, you've ever seen like a girl with highlighter on her face, like how it looks, they look almost holographic. We are buying a ton of makeup, and that goes into special effects as well, because we're covering like full on, like full body and like the and that type of makeup to make it kind of holographic looking. So there's a lot going into it. A lot of glamour makeup. It's kind of like Jim and the Holograms. If you've ever seen like the stars on their face or the big makeup, or you put like the tape on your face and put the blush on and then pull the tape off and you have that line going through. We're doing a lot of
Right.
that makeup too. Yeah. So it's going to be heavy, heavy in that type of glamour plus gore. So there's a lot that we have to buy for this. And um, we're in demand. So it'll be available. We're going to make everything available all the way up until like a month or so before shooting. And we're going to be adding new perks and changing some things up here soon. I just haven't had time due to work, where I'm working for the budget as well. So now that I'm changing jobs, um, I'm going to have a little bit more time on my hands for everything.
Incredible, man. Yeah, I'm anxious to I know it's not like a broken record, but yeah, I'm anxious to see. I love the idea of using practical effects. I'm like a big advocate for practical effects. So,
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what you come up with. And it sounds like the practical effects are just going to be amazing.
Yeah,
We
she's
just talked
really,
about
really
that.
good.
Man,
The
it sounds
other
incredible.
thing, though, is like what I think is going to get this film to stand out, or things that I do differently than other filmmakers, is I've worked a lot with independent filmmakers, where they have their actors just come to set and they're dressed in whatever they're wearing, and that's going to be in the film. Like the director doesn't pick it out. There's no costume, no wardrobe, and that's important. What I do with every single person that's shown in any frame in the film is I pick out first your hairstyle, then I pick out your makeup, then I pick out your color palette, what colors you're gonna wear. Then we go over all of your wardrobe, and then we go over like shoes. We go over lingerie or anything that's going to be shown underneath. We go over every single aspect of what that actor's wearing, all the way down to their makeup and the color of their makeup, the brand of their makeup, how good is it going to look. So we really go all out for our characters, and that's for men and women. Because I know like a lot of guys in indie film, they don't wear makeup. They don't, unless it's special effects. No, if you're on camera, you need to be in at least a full cover of foundation to smooth you out, make you look like a freaking movie star. So that's something that's really important to
Right.
me, that we make sure to take care of all of our actors.
Yeah, that's an important aspect that I think a lot of indie directors and just indie horror film projects, in that respect, that just they don't really even think about even just putting on like foundation or any sort of makeup. It's just like,
Yeah.
all right, show up to set, and then
Yeah.
you know
And then you got to remember, you're going to be caught on film for the rest of your life. This is going to be out there. You want to look, you want it to look really good. You want to look good. I watched a movie recently. I'm not going to say the name of it because it is an indie film, but nobody wore any makeup and they all had writing on their shirt. I was just like, no, 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 no. It's not working for me. But also, unless the role calls for it, unless the role calls for it, I don't hire anyone with colored hair. That's another big thing for me. So like if people have like the blues and the pinks and purples in their hair, to me that's a no. Like I can't do it. I won't do it. I have like a particular look that I go for in anything that I do. And it's not that it's bad, but if the role called for someone who is edgy like that, then I would. But otherwise, I try to make everyone look as glamorous as possible, kind of like the Italian films, how they had like the beautiful women and the beautiful men, and they always just looked like on point. You know what I mean? Or like um, Tennessee Williams, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, how everyone just looks spot on in each film. I try to go for that, you know. I use that for inspiration. Of course, it's not going to be on that level, but I use those films for inspiration for all of my characters to make them look like a character that you're never going to forget. That way, when you think of like, oh, Ronnie from Deadly Dealings, what was she wearing? Like, it's going to pop right into your head what she was wearing and what she was doing because it's going to be memorable, you know, like what she was wearing. So that's another important aspect that I like to put in film as well.
Very cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, and like that thinking about was the uh, I mean, that's how you're gonna look like forever on
Yeah,
on screen and on that particular film.
yeah. You want to make sure
Um,
that you look good.
yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, man. Scream Dream, the Indiegogo campaign is still going live. Um, for I would assume several months. Is there like a time frame, like
I
for
might
how
turn
long the
it
campaign's going to
off.
go on for?
I might turn the campaign off like a month before we shoot, so I can have it up as
So would
long
that
as I
be
need
like a
to.
couple months? Or
September
okay,
14th to the 27th is when we're shooting. So we'll have it
okay,
up till probably, let's see, August, sometime around August. Yeah.
okay. All right. So there's plenty of time for people to want to buy a perk, especially like some of the more expensive ones. So, like, people want to save to be an a producer, they can, um,
Yeah. And if there's something
which is
on there
awesome.
that,
But yeah,
yeah, there's something on there that you don't see, let me know. Maybe we can add it on there. I can make a perk, you know. So if there's something that, you know, is on there that's not on there that you want, just message me and we can see if we can make it happen.
awesome, man. Um, so is there anything else that you wanted to talk about the film that we haven't gotten to yet? Or
I do want to say Savage Vengeance came to Blu-ray through SRS Cinema, and they've only got 200 units of the Blu-ray, but I say go there, grab a copy of Savage Vengeance. It's a remake of a Donald Farmer film, which was Savage Vengeance was the unofficial sequel to I Spit on Your Grave, starring Camille Keaton of I Spit on Your Grave playing Jennifer, which was her character in I Spit on Your Grave. That was the original. So the remake is a little different. It's kind of its own story, but it's really similar. That is out. Truly Madly is on Freevee and Tubi TV. The found footage, the series that I did, is also on Tubi as well. I have two other films that's about to come out, and one is called Fucked, Fukt. It's an extreme underground horror anthology film directed by all women, and it is a nasty, nasty, nasty little film. So if you like your gore, and if you like something that makes your stomach turn, hit it. That film is coming out through Putrid Productions, I believe, and also Secrets of the Witch, which was directed by Dixie Gares, is getting a lot of attention through different film festivals. It's been winning a lot of awards, and she has it coming out very soon to physical. And that movie was just a really fun movie to make. Um, we recently, me and Steve did. Well, actually, let's see. Me, Stephen McGill, Dixie Gares, Jessa Flux. We did a trauma film called Curse of the Weird Ear, and that one I got to see the film um, ahead of time, and I was blown away. It is absolutely, absolutely hilarious. It's instead of like a werewolf, you have a weredeer, and it's really, really bloody. And I remember on that project, the crew was so huge. We had like 40 people on set, working on that film constantly. So it was a huge deal, and I'm really excited about the trauma film, Curse of the Weird Air.
Nice. Yeah, I remember hearing something about that film a while back, and then just I don't know, I never heard any updates on it. So that's cool to hear that the film is like pretty much completed and waiting for a release date.
Yep, they are editing it right now, and like I said, they've done amazing, amazing work with it.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to put that on my watch list and see when it releases. I'm sure it release on the Troma Now app.
I'm sure it'll be on there,
One
yeah.
could guess.
And another film that, well, it's a re-release. They have the Gore trilogy, which is like Gorotica, Gorgasm, and Gore Horror, all on a Blu-ray from SRS Cinema. And I did like a small documentary thing with Hugh Gallagher for his like it was about Gorotica, and they are featuring it on Blu-ray as well. So you can get all four of his films because he also has Dead Silence, which was not part of the Gore trilogy, but they have it as an extra. You can get all four films, and they're amazing. I love them. They're some of the best shot on video. You can get that from SRS Cinema as well right now.
Awesome. I think I don't know if the two companies are affiliated or not, but I know sovhorror.com has put out a couple of those. I don't know if he's put out all of those or not, but
Yeah,
I know that he's got some DVD copies on his website as well.
very nice. I need to check that out. I haven't been on SOV Horror in a minute, and I love shot on video, so I need to go check out that website.
Yeah, man. He I don't know if the sale's still going on, but he had like a pretty big sale actually recently.
Oh
A
wow,
lot of those SOV titles were like really cheap. Like some were like $10. I think he even had like daily deals where they could get as low as like $5 or $6, something like that,
that's
which
not bad.
is a hell of a deal if you've been on his website before.
Yeah,
You could grab several for the price of one or two sometimes. Uh, so yeah, his website and kind of stay up to date with what they're doing because it seems like he's always doing deals all the time, and he's got quite a variety of films on there. So if you're into shot on video stuff, definitely check that website out as well.
oh yeah. Shot on video is the best.
But
And you can
yeah,
also you can still get Cannibal Hookers through Culture Shock releasing.
okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I that brought up wasn't a film on. No, I think Debbie Does Demons is supposed to be on like the Vinegar Syndrome website under one of the partner labels. When I
Yeah,
heard last.
the Culture Shock releasing, they are putting out Debbie Does Demons, and they partnered up with Vinegar Syndrome, so they're one of their partner labels. It'll be on their website.
Which is incredible, by
Excuse
the
me.
way.
Do
Being
it.
able to see some of Donald Farmer's, which is incredible, by the way, just being able to see some of Donald Farmer's films like on Vinegar Syndrome,
Oh
and
yeah,
getting
yeah.
the whole all the fancy packaging and whatnot, slip cases.
Yeah, I'm excited
Yeah,
for it.
Adam, man,
Very excited.
man. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, and for everyone that wants to check out the Indiegogo campaign for Scream Dream, I'll leave the link to the Indiegogo in the description of this episode. I've kind of plastered even like on the video, the link is on there as well. But in case you forget, I'll put the link in the description of this episode, and try to donate if it's going to go to because if you want to see a new take on a 80s cult classic and make it into a very unique take and just something that'll please the gore hounds, something that will please the people that just love the color palettes and the aesthetics of like 80s and just vibrant color vibes. I think this is going to be an incredible project and should really get to see like Debbie Dutch from Hard to Die and Graduation Day and all those awesome 80s and 90s B horror films, and then as well as the new Queens, Scream Kings. I think this is just going to be an awesome film.
Thank you.
So, Adam, man, this has been fun. I just want to say thank you for coming on the show and being able to talk about your new film.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been awesome.
All right. Just like I guess right before we take off, is there like anywhere that you would like to plug in some of like, do you have like any websites or like any merchandise websites where people can buy physical copies of your films or?
Right now, if you want to get the Deadly Dealings Blu-ray, which I want to show it again, right, trying to right here, Deadly Dealings Blu-ray. You can buy them through me. These are not burns. These are actual press Blu-rays, so they'll play on anything. You don't have to worry about it. They are region-free, and they're very high quality. You can buy. Just go to my Facebook, look up Adam Freeman. I do have a website called Webador Adam Freeman, which I'm going to start putting stuff up for sale on that website, and you can purchase it through. It'll take you to like a link to my store. But yeah, so you can get the Deadly Dealings through me. They're like $30, and that includes shipping. So yeah.
Right on. All right, Adam. Well, much for coming on the show, and for the listeners that listen to the Root Horror Podcast, if you want to follow me on the social medias, I'm on Instagram, Facebook at Root Horror Podcast. We're on Todd. And subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@ Root Horror Podcast. Website www.roothorrorpodcast.com, or for just all the other links, if in a one-stop shop, you can go to link.com/Root Horror Podcast. I just want to say thank you all for watching and listening to the show, and stay tuned for the next one.
Thank you again.